Hi guys, it's me Terry of the Yarnjoy podcast. Danica of Lady Loves Crochet on Facebook, she has a Facebook group and it is called Lady Love Design Boutique. And she is a crochet designer that designs crochet Graphgan charts. And over on her Facebook group, Lady Love Design Boutique, she has an event for her members called the New Stitch of the Month. And she asked me to demonstrate that new stitch that she's going to be releasing for February, this upcoming month. Okay, so the new stitch of the month for February is going to be the block stitch, using the block stitch in Graphgans, okay? And so the chart that she has made, will be making available for this challenge of learning this new stitch, is this shamrock chart. So go over into her Facebook group, join the group, and if get this chart, and you can work on this challenge along with the other members there in the group. If you like to do crochet Graphgans, it would be an awesome group to join. You can also learn this stitch just to add a new technique to your crochet skills. Okay, so this is the chart I'm working on. In order to do the block stitch, you first have to know how many stitches, or how many squares your chart has, okay? This technique is working horizontally, line by line, on your following your chart. And so in order to start, you have to have a foundation chain, okay? And in this block stitch, for each square on your chart is 3 double crochet stitches, okay? And then you will have 1 double crochet or a chain 3, because the chain 3s in this technique is counted as a double crochet stitch. Okay, so you will have 1 stitch on either side that won't be counted toward the little squares, and that would be like a border stitch on either side, okay? Okay, so to calculate how many chains you're going to need to get your foundation started, you just count the number of squares that you have. Okay, and in this chart I have 29 squares across. So you count the number of squares you have, and then you multiply it by 3, and then you add 4 to it. So this chart has 29 squares, so 29 times 3 is 87, and then you add 4 more stitches to it. So 87 plus 4 is 91. So we're going to start with 91 stitches all the way across. So I'm going to take my background color and I'm going to chain 91, which will be 29 times 3 plus 4, okay? Okay, so we chained 91, and now we're ready to start reading the first row of our chart. Okay, so on this first row we have 14 squares of the same color until we get to the color change. And for this example, I'm going to be using this brown for the stem part, okay? Okay, so we have 14 squares, and remember I said that each square is 3 stitches. So we're going to do 14 times 3, and that's 42. Okay, so 42, we're going to need to do 42 double crochets. Okay, so first we're going to do a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's where we put it. So double crochet into that chain. Just like that, okay? Now, this chain right here, this turning chain, that is going to be our border stitches that are on the side, so that's not going to count in our 42 double crochets that we need to do, okay? So we're going to start counting with this one that we just made right there, okay? Not the turning chain. So if that's 1. So now we keep going, and then we're going to make 42 double crochets. So there's number 2. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we just do a double crochet down until we have 42 double crochets starting number 1 being this one right here, not the turning chain, okay? So I'll meet you back when I've got 42 double crochets stitched. Okay, so I just made 42 stitches, 42 double crochets, and now I'm ready to start my stem color. But before I do that, I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to mark the first double crochet that I did, or just on this side, okay? Because that's going to tell me that this is the right side of my work, okay? So now we did 42 double crochets. Now I need to add in my stem color to make these 2 squares right there, okay? So I'm going to take my brown that I'm going to be using for my stem. I've already put a slip knot in it, and so I'm going to put that slip knot onto my hook, okay? I still have the green on my hook here, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that loop through the green, like that, and then snug down the green, okay? Put my green, I'm going to drop the green, and I'm going to put it to the back of my work. Now, to do 2 squares, each square is 3 stitches, so I have to make 6 double crochets for those 2 squares, okay? So I'm just going to continue on with the brown, okay? I'm not working over my green, it's just going to be at the back of my work. And I'm going to do 6 double crochets. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now I'm going to take my green, the one I dropped, and I'm going to put that over on that side, because now it's time for me to add in the green back onto my piece here to do the rest of the row, okay? So put my brown there. Now I'm going to head and I'm going to start another bobbin, a separate bobbin than the one I left off on, because I want to keep this on that side, okay? So I'm going to start with another bobbin of the green, and see, I've already put a slip knot in it, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with the brown. I'm going to put that on my hook, okay, tighten it up just a little bit, and then I'm going to slide that through here just like you're making a chain, just like that, okay, and then I'm going to pull the brown tight. Okay, now one thing about it I want to say, see how this loosened up right there? Well, when we come back, going this direction, after we turn our work over, then we can snug this up and you won't see that, okay? Okay, so we pulled the green loop through the brown, okay, dropped our brown, everything is toward the back of my work, okay? Now I'm just going to double crochet all the way across to the end of my row, okay, all the way. 1 double crochet in each chain, okay. And just like that. So all I'm doing is double crocheting all the way to the end of my row, and so I will meet you when we get to the last chain here. Okay, so I got to the end of my row, and now that means that we just completed the first row of this chart. Okay, so I'm going to take my Sharpie, and I'm using a Sharpie because that way you can see it better for the video, but I suggest using a pencil, so that way if you get into any trouble you can always pull your work out and then erase if you need to, and fix whatever happened. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mark off my first row. Okay, now the next row that we're going to do when we turn our work, that one is not going to be part of the chart. So every other row you'll be marking off your chart, and then the other row it won't be, okay? that one is what you call a set, or I call a setup row, okay? So the way you do the setup row is that you chain one, okay, and then you turn your work. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my bobbins moved over. Okay. So we chained one. Now I'm going to single crochet in the top of that stitch. Okay, the chain one does not count as a single crochet. It just helped us turn. Okay, so single crochet into the top. Okay, now we're going to single crochet in between this first double crochet and the next double crochet. Okay, so in between we're going to do a single crochet. Okay, there you go. So now we're going to, whoops. Okay, so now we're going to chain two, 1, 2, and then we're going to skip 3 double crochets, so 1, 2, 3, and we're going to single crochet in between those two, that double crochet in the next one. Okay. Then we're going to chain 2. And then we do the same thing. So we're going to skip 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to single crochet in between that third double crochet and the next one. Chain 2, and then we're going to skip 3 double crochets, single crochet in between the third one and the next one. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way across. Chain 2, okay. Now, when we get to, so go ahead and keep doing that, and then when we get to where the stem color is, then I will meet you there and I'll show you what we need to do. So I've got up to right before the stem color is starting again. And so I single crocheted right there, I chained 2, and then I'm going to go ahead and skip 3 double crochets, and I'm going to single crochet in between that third double crochet and the next one, okay, just like regular. Okay. Now, when I'm going to go over this section with my foundation row, I want to change to the brown color so that way you won't see this green showing through, yes. So I'm going to drop this, and remember now, since we turned our work, this side is actually the wrong side of our work. So when we drop the green, we want to bring it forward like that, okay? Now we're going to pick up our brown, and we're just going to do a chain to loop it through that green stitch that we had on the hook. Okay, now I'm going to pull my green and snug it up. Okay, and now I'm going to continue. We've already got a single crochet there, so we don't need to do that. We're going to continue with the chain 2 and then single crochet. Okay, so chain 2, 1, 2. And then we're going to skip 3 double crochets, so 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet in between that third one and the next one. Well, just like that, okay? Chain 2, 1, 2, skip 3 double crochets, and then we're going to single crochet in between the third one and the next one, like that. Okay, now we need to now go back to the green color. So now I'm going to drop my brown and I'm going to bring it forward, because remember, this is the wrong side of the work. I'm going to take my green and I'm going to loop it through to continue. But before I do, I want to go ahead and pull it just a little snug. That's from the row before when we did the color change. And now I'm going to do a chain to get it onto our hook. Then we're going to take the brown, we're going to snug that up. Now we're going to continue. Now that chain that we just did, it does not count toward the chain 2s. Okay, that was just for our color change. So now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Then we're going to skip 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, single crochet between that third one and the next one, just like what we've been doing. Okay, chain 2, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet in between them. Okay, now we're going to do that, and we're going to do it all the way to the end, okay? And I'll meet you up at the end. Okay, so we single crocheted, chain 2, and now we're getting ready to skip the last well, we're going to do these, skip these 3 double crochets. We're going to slip stitch, not slip stitch, sorry, single crochet after that 3rd double crochet in between that and the turning chain that's at the end, okay, just like we've been doing before, okay. Now, the only thing we do need to now remember to do now is to single crochet into the top of the turning chain. Okay, so we will have 2 single crochets there at the end, okay. Okay, so there is our setup row. Now we are getting ready to, once we chain up and turn, we're going to be following the chart again, okay? So, in order to do that, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, because this is double crochet row. So we're going to chain 3 for our turning chain. We're going to turn our work, okay? So, it's got everything over on this side now. Okay, now we're going to find the chain 2 loops that we made during the setup row, and that's the ones that we're going to do our block stitch into, okay? Now, since we turn the work, we see our marker again, and see that's a reminder to tell you that we are now reading off the chart again. See that? Okay, so for our next row, this row, as you see, we're going to do the same amount of green squares, okay, as we did below. See, the brown, when we change to the brown, it's going to be right above this first brown square that we did from row 1, okay? So in order to do that, we're going to be working in these chain 2 loops, okay? So remember, each square is 3 double crochets, so we're going to double crochet into 3 times into the chain 2 loop from the previous row, just like that. See that? And then we're going to, no chaining in between, we're just going to do 3 double crochets into each of those chain 2 loops, just like that. See? And then go into the next chain 2 loop, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. See that? So we're going to do that, and we're going to go all the way across until we get to where our brown color started, the stem color, okay? So I'll meet you there. Okay, so now I'm getting right up to where I need to change to my stem color on my chart, from my chart, okay? So let's see. That stem color is going to start right above that first of the stem color from below. See this? Here's the 2, and it's going to be right above this one. So we need to do 1 more block in the green. So 3 double crochets into the chain 2 loop. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we're getting ready to work. We're right at where we're going to work above this first brown, or in my case it's brown, of the stem. Okay, so we are getting ready to do that square right there. Okay, so I need to drop my green, and remember, we are working on the right side of the work now, so I want to drop the green to the back, and I'm going to get ready to get my brown yarn and pick that one up. Okay, now I'm going to, in order to change colors, when it's coming from the bottom like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this green on my hook at the back of the hook. See that? And then I'm going to insert my hook into the chain 2 space, because that's where the stitches are going to be going, and I'm going to pull a loop up from the back. See that? With the brown. Okay, now I need to chain up 3 to make it equivalent height of a double crochet, right? So I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then from my 3rd one, I'm going to chain to get my 3rd one, but I'm going to go through both of these loops, and that's going to connect those 2 together. Okay, so here's my 3rd chain, going to go through the brown and the green. See that? Okay, now I'm going to take my green, I'm going to snug that up from the back, okay, to hide that where the transition was from one color to the next. Now I need to finish my block, and we've only got 1 double crochet there, so I need to put 2 more of the brown in there. Okay, See that? And so that is that square right there that I just made on the stem. Okay, so if I get my marker, I can see that I've completed all of that. Okay, so now the rest of the row is back to the green again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to pick up the green. But right now the green is actually above this one. See that? And I need it to be over here now. I have to get it over one. So what I do, put my hook back up there, it came loose. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook into the chain 2 space, the chain 2 loop. I'm going to take that green and I'm going to pull it forward into that loop. See that? Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and chain up 2. Well, actually I'm chaining up 3, but the last one will be connecting the 2 together, just like we did before with the color change. So 1, 2, and then 3 is going to go through both loops to connect them. Snug up the brown in the back to tighten it up. And now I'm going to finish this block, and I'm going to work over, I want to work over that green that's underneath there that had to be stretched across. So I'm going to work over it. I'm going to do 2 more double crochets, and that will that will finish that block. See that? So now all we have to do is do double crochets, sets of 3 into each of these chain 2 loops all the way across until we get to the end of the row, because we have all greens for the rest of this row. So we just continue on with the green. So we're going to do 3 double crochets into this chain 2 loop, just like that. No chaining in between, see? And then 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 loop, just like that, and so on. So go all the way to the end, and I will meet you up when we get to the end of the row. Okay, so now we are at the end of the row. We're going to do 1 more block stitch, or block grouping, into that chain 2 loop right there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now remember we have this border stitch that we need to do. So we're going to do a double crochet into the top of that last single crochet that we had from before, and that will make our border stitch on the side. See that? Okay. Okay, so now we need to make, when we turn our work, now we're going to do the next setup row in preparation of doing row 3 on our chart. So we chain 1, we turn our work. Okay, so let me move my bobbins around. Okay. Now we're going to single crochet into the top of that last double crochet from the row before. Oops, single crochet there. Okay, and now remember we need to single crochet in between the blocks. So that means we need to do another single crochet right there that is in between that border stitch and our first block. Okay, so now as you see, since we've done a few rows, you can see where the blocks are more pronounced. See that? And so it's much easier or quicker to do this setup row because you don't even have to count stitches. You just know that you're going to do a single crochet in between the blocks. Okay, so chain 2, single crochet between the blocks. See that? Chain 2, single crochet between the next 2 blocks. Chain 2, single crochet between the next 2 blocks. Okay, chain 2, single crochet between the next 2 blocks. So you keep doing that, and remember when you're on the back side of the work where there's no marker here, that you are not reading off the chart. There's nothing to mark off. Okay, oh, but I did forget to mark off my chart here. We did finish this second row. So we're continuing down, and then I will meet you right when we get to the stem, this stem area. Okay. Okay, so I single crocheted, I chained 2, now I'm going to single crochet between these next 2 blocks. So single crochet, Okay, now since this next block, the block below there is brown, I'm going to drop my green yarn, and remember this is the back side, so I'm going to drop it toward the front. And I'm going to pick up my brown yarn, chain to connect them to the 2 stitches together, snug up my green yarn, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and then single crochet between these 2 blocks. Okay, now I need to change back to my green again. Okay, so I'm going to drop my brown forward because this is the back side of the work. I'm going to snug, now this one has gotten a little bit loose, see the connection there? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my green one to snug it up a little bit from the row before, and then I'm going to loop it through my work, okay, and then snug up the brown one. That will make your color transitioning a lot cleaner. Now you're going to chain 2 and then single crochet between the blocks, chain 2 and single crochet between the blocks, and see, we're going to do that all the way, completing our setup row. We're going to go all the way to the end. Okay, so I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so we're coming up to the end. I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2. I need to single crochet between this last block and the turning chain, or that border chain. So single crochet between those 2. And then remember, you need to do a single crochet in the top of that turning chain as well. Okay, so now we're ready to turn our work, and then we're going to be reading off the chart again. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn our work. Okay, straighten your bobbins out. So now we're going to do the block stitch again, and you're going to do the 3 double crochets into the chain 2 loops that you made from the row before. And we are going now to follow our chart again. Okay, so for the 3rd row, we're going to do green all the way up to this stitch right here. And remember, see, it's 1 stitch, actually it's 1 stitch to this side of the stem. Okay, so we're going to do 1 less green. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So now we're going to do 13 blocks of green, and then we're going to start our brown there. So you're doing 3 double crochets into the chain 2 loops, just like that, and then 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 loops. Okay, so that's how you do the block stitch when making a Graphgan. Okay, feel free to rewind or go to the beginning of the video to, if you need a reminder as to how to change colors or add colors. Okay, it will be done the same way throughout the chart as you travel through the chart. Okay. So thank you, Danica, for for asking me to demonstrate this stitch of your Stitch of the Month event that you're having. And again, her Facebook group is Lady Love Design Boutique on Facebook, yes. So go over there and check her out and join the group and learn this new skill of creating Graphgans using the block stitch. Have a great day, and we'll see you later. Bye.